Thank you for tuning in. 6 minutes after 11 o'clock. And, we hope that our job here is both informative and mind-stimulating as well as entertaining. And, sometimes it's good just to talk about something else. And this time of year, we have an opportunity because of all the people out there that are trying to do great things for other people and especially for the kids. And Lieutenant General Pete Osmond has dedicated his life to doing good things for all of us. He's retired from the U.S. Marine Corps. He also happens to be the president and chief executive officer for something I love called the Marine Toys for Tots Foundation. And he's on the phone with us right now to talk to us about the Toys for Tots program, and I guess it's getting kicked off with this phone call. I'm not really sure. So. I'm not really sure about that. Lieutenant General Pete Osmond. Good morning, General.
Good morning.
Thank you for doing this and for being on the air with us today.
Yeah, my pleasure. I appreciate the opportunity to share some thoughts with you and your listening audience.
And where are you right now?
I'm located just outside the main gate to Marine Corps Base Quantico. That's in Virginia, about 35 miles south of Washington, D.C.
Oh, okay. And the Toys for Tots program is how old?
Well, 66 years old. First campaign was in 1947 in Los Angeles, and as you know, the program's grown dramatically over the years. And this year, we're actually going to be conducting campaigns in big cities and little towns all over the country, including all 50 states. About 760 campaigns this year.
Okay, and with that, do you happen to know offhand, or could I look it up? Is Ocala one of those cities?
Oh, yes.
Okay, and that's good to know. So we'll have to get somebody local in here to talk about the local campaign. Is it starting today?
Well, actually, we consider the actual campaign season to have begun on the 1st of October, and that's usually when the coordinators begin doing, a lot of the behind-the-scenes work, identifying places for their drop-off boxes, trying to gain, local sponsors for some of their events and whatnot. So the program's actually been going on for about a little over a month right now, but the real, I guess you might call it meat and potatoes, begins about mid-November. That's when people seriously start thinking about Christmas and doing their shopping and whatnot. So that's when we begin to see the toys coming in and the donations.
And one of the things that my note says, the Shack clause, is that Shaquille O'Neal?
Well, it is. The Toys R Us and Babies R Us, which have been corporate sponsors of ours for the last 10 years, and great corporate sponsors, I might add, have actually had Shaq work with them each year in order to try to improve, if you will, the opportunity for less fortunate children to receive toys at Christmas. So it's been a delight for us to be able to have Shaq O'Neal on our team. Obviously, he's a real favorite with the youngsters, and he's someone who can really relate to the challenges that a less fortunate child has this time of year. When you're facing Christmas, not sure whether or not Santa Claus is going to visit you, or if you're beyond that, whether or not mom and dad are in a position where they might be able to provide some gifts on Christmas, because he grew up in a home where that didn't happen. And so he has a lot of understanding and empathy for those youngsters that face this time of year.
Oh, that's great.
When we hear the phrase Toys for Tots or Toys for Children, we think of elementary to middle-aged school children. Does the whole Toys for Tots program include children ages 18 and under?
It does. We kind of leave it up to each local coordinator to try to address the age group that he can best do in his location. Most of the time, the coordinators will go up to about 12, 13 years old because they just cannot get enough toys for the older children, and they have a hard enough time meeting the demand for the younger children. However, the program really is designed for all children, and when people go out shopping, I often remind them, don't forget the older kids, because you're a teenager. It's pretty tough this time of year when you hear your friends talking about what they might expect to have for Christmas and whatnot, and the fact that you might be facing nothing.
Right. Well, so what are the nuts and bolts of the program? Is it simply going to a toy store and dropping a toy in a box? What are the basics for the average person? Like, what would I do to help?
Right, a great question. There are lots of ways that an individual can assist with the Toys for Tots program. The first is, as you just described, to go to a toy store, find a favorite toy that you like, or you think your youngster might like, and that's exactly the toy we're looking for. Purchase it, drop it in one of our drop-off barrels, and usually they're located in malls and convenient locations. If that's not something you want to do, go shopping for the toy, then you can always go to our website, which is toysfortots.org, and on that website you can make an online donation and do other things. You ask what else you can do? Well, you can volunteer your services. I can guarantee our local coordinators are always looking for additional sets of hands to help in the warehouse. So again, at our website, you can locate your local coordinator by state and county. And at that site, they have contact information, so you can reach him and volunteer your services. And as I said, I guarantee you, he would really appreciate that.
And
I'm sorry.
And we also have to give kudos to the local people that do all of the legwork to make sure all of the names submitted are legitimate and that there is a true, real need.
That's absolutely right. That's one of the things that each local coordinator has to work with. Usually social agencies in the community, in small towns. Sometimes it's the police department that can identify the less fortunate families. So, again, yes, you want to make sure that the right people are receiving the gifts.
I went to the website that you just told us about, toysfortots.org, and there's something on it that I haven't heard about, so maybe you can elaborate a little bit. There are two choices for cards. You can send an in-memory campaign card or an honor campaign card. What is that?
Well, sometimes at this time of year, let's just take our holiday card. Some folks, you say you've got some employees in your business, and maybe in the past you've given them something at Christmas, and you say, gee, they really don't need something else. What I'd like to do is make a donation in their honor, so you can do that. And that's what this program is about, an opportunity for someone to make a donation on behalf of someone else, and when they do that, the individual, in fact, who has had the honor of having their name submitted as someone who made a donation, we send them a nice card and a thank you and identify the person who thought well enough about them that they would want to do something like this.
Oh, wow. Our men and women that are serving right now who may not be home for the holidays, I mean, it's always an issue every Christmas for as long as I can remember, even before I was born. Obviously, a huge issue for those families. Do some of them... how do I even ask this question? Do those children, in some cases, benefit from this program?
They can. Again, it's a need-based program,
Mm-hmm.
so if a service member, let's say he's a lower-ranking individual, maybe an E3 or an E4, and maybe he's got an early family, maybe he's got 3 or 4 kids, he's probably in a situation where the amount of money he makes, his salary, can't begin to take care of the children at Christmas time, so certainly he would be eligible for Toys for Tots.
About how many toys does each child receive on Christmas through the Toys for Tots?
Again, that varies by program. It depends on how many toys the local coordinator is able to collect, how many folks he has who have asked for support, and then you can kind of just do the arithmetic and see how that would go. Generally speaking, what we like to do is ensure that every child gets 2 toys and a book. And we really think it's important that book be part of the gift set, if you will, because a lot of times some of the folks that are in the more poverty areas, books are not around the house, and planting that seed early, that reading can be fun and is important, is an important seed to plant.
And it's just that really boggles our mind, because we always think that America is a great country and everybody has the same opportunity, but that's not true.
Oh, that's for sure. If you look at the census figures that we receive each year, it's kind of disappointing that in our country right now we have about 16 million children that are living at the poverty level. And this is a huge increase that has taken place over the past 4 to 5 years. When I first came to the program about 5 years ago, there were about 12 million people. Or children living at the poverty level, and it has increased by 4 million over the past 4 to 5 years.
Wow.
The phone has rung. Let me take a phone call, and then I've got a question about the toys themselves. Good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Larry and Robin. This is the former Marine, General Osmond, and I want to thank you for your Marine Corps service. I was raised by a Korea infantryman from the Korean War. I was a Marine before I was even out of grade school in many regards. I Also, I'm a big fan of James Webb, sir, and Phil Caputo, and my NCOIC, sir, at Marine Security Guard School in Henderson Hall in Washington, D.C., was Gunnery Sergeant Langlois, who was selected by our government as a Marine to bring home the last soldier from Vietnam, the guy who abused the POWs. In any case, sir, I just wanted to thank you for the Toys for Tots program. I think it does show a need, and the reason I called the show was the last sentences you folks were talking about was actually with the exporting of over 50,000 factories, so that listeners will get that straight, not jobs, but manufacturing facilities and factories and industries being lost at such a wide regard. We've got 2 million Americans in jail, the largest incarceration rate in the country. So I know the general's an educated man. I was just an enlisted person, but smart people know why things are the way they are, and we need to pull together as a country, and it makes the general's job harder to implement what he does. But I personally would thank him for not necessarily running off to Boeing or Northrop Grumman or Sikorsky or Raytheon, but in fact taking on a job that represents the heart and soul of our country, which are our children. So I thank you, General, and Semper Fidelis.
No, Semper Fi to you, Marine. I appreciate the kind words, and all the best to you.
There you go. So my question real quickly about the toys themselves. I went to the website and I looked at the 2 locations here in Marion County. One is in Bellevue, and it's the coordinator there is Mary Hazelton. For those local, and I'm not so sure where you would go for that, though. Let me find the other one. The other one, it says West Marion County, is George Robinson. Do the toys that we donate locally stay local?
Absolutely. That is one of the key tenets to the program is local donations stay local. Local, whether it's a toy or someone making a monetary donation, we keep those things local. It's supposed to be a community action program, so that's what people want. When they donate toys, they want to support those in their community, so that's the way it works. From the national level, because we do receive national donations, we translate those donations into toys and actually ship additional toys to all of our coordinators early on in the season and then later in the season as they get a better feel for what their requirement is.
Have you found that children that have benefited from the Toys for Tots Christmas drive every year, have you found that when they've grown up that they're the first in their community to get involved to help others that need more than they do?
Absolutely. We get stories like that all the time. You know, it's funny, there are millions of youngsters that have grown up that really never know where the toys come from. In fact, you know, we're not out doing this in order to try to gain publicity for ourselves or for the Marines. What we really want to do is have the youngster believe that either Santa Claus has not forgotten them, or that in spite of the tough economic times, Mom and Dad are still able to take care of them. So the fact that it's done by Marines or other volunteers in the community, we're not really interested in the child knowing that. So a lot of times children grow up receiving toys at Christmas and never really know where they come from.
So just for the local people who want to participate in Toys for Tots, whether you want to donate or you want to list a child or a specific gift request, you can do that on the website, and I'm on the website. And Mr. George Robinson, as I mentioned before, he's one of the Toys for Tots coordinators here. He represents, Ocala and Denellen, as well as a majority of Marion County, including Silver Spring Shores and Marion Oaks. And his number is 445-2666. And let me get the other one real quickly, if I could.
Mary Hazelton, you said.
Mary Hazelton, yeah, let me find her. She would be the rest of Marion County, actually. And to go to her, let me find her number. Yeah, she, let's see, her number is 347-1643, 347-1643, and you could request a toy. And maybe, is there a need for other volunteers, General?
Oh, absolutely. I guarantee you, if if you contacted those two coordinators, they would be more than delighted to get volunteer support. I often say coordinators can't have too many hands in the warehouse helping to sort the toys or help with distribution or go out picking up the collection barrels. There are so many things that the volunteers help us with. And in fact, the Marines that we have that run the program say we couldn't do what we're doing were it not the tens of thousands of volunteers who come forward each year to make this program work in the communities.
So are they all held in all the toys held in one central location, and then on a certain date they're distributed?
Again, that's up to the local coordinator.
Okay.
In most cases, most of the coordinators will have one central warehouse that they work out of, but in some of the larger cities, they may have multiple warehouses where they work.
Since Toys for Tots was started 66 years ago, are there any Marines still living from that beginning Marine unit that started this on their own?
It seems like several years ago we did get a letter from someone who was involved with that first campaign, but obviously at this point most of those folks have passed on.
And how was your childhood growing up, sir? Did you ever have a need or see somebody that had a need and help them just because?
Well, interestingly, I grew up in a Navy family. My dad was a chief petty officer, an enlisted man, and I can remember a couple of Christmases when things were kind of skosh, and yet Mom and Dad always managed to make it work. Obviously, didn't ask any questions. They may have gotten help from Toys for Tots. I don't know, but the fact of the matter is, they did whatever they could to try to make Christmas really, really good for my brother and I. And so, for those families that are kind of close to the edge, I can certainly understand the challenges they face as they look at possibly having Christmas without anything for their children. I couldn't think of a tougher position to be in as a parent myself.
Right. I think the best, if you wanted to just donate a toy, and again, I'm looking at the website here, if you just wanted to donate a toy, it looks like the best place would be Toys R Us. But look, there's a whole list of them here. Okay, I'm seeing it here now. There's... if I start naming them, it's just going to take up the rest of the show. But trust me, if you go to the website toysfortots.org and you just kind of search for our area, you'll see the whole list of the different. There's grocery stores, there's the chambers of commerces, there's a couple of VFW posts, a couple of other businesses, a couple of restaurants on here I recognize. So that's probably your best bet. And call me if you need any of that repeated. We'll have no problem telling you over the phone. Well, this is awesome. I mean, this is like, what was the Billy Preston song? The War on Poverty.
Mm-hmm.
You're fighting another war in a way here.
It's kind of true. It's tough these days because the demand is up. We've got wonderful folks like the two coordinators we've been talking about in your area who, really are trying to collect as many toys as they possibly can, as many donations as they can, because I'm sure for them there's going to be more requests for toys than they can meet. And so this is why it's so important for your listeners this morning to take this to heart. And when you go out shopping, buy that toy and drop it in one of those barrels at those drop-off sites you were mentioning. If it's not convenient to shop, go to the website and make your donation. And again, I guarantee you that donation will stay right there in your community.
Right.
And for you to stress the importance of books, I
like that part. Yeah,
that really hits home to the heart of the child, because that will give child hope. They'll learn how to read, they'll have dreams, and they'll be able to pursue those dreams.
That's right. It's really, really important. In fact, we have a separate little program we call the Toys for Tots Literacy Program. And over about the past 4 or 5 years, we've been able to distribute about 20 million books to less fortunate children around the country. This past year with Hurricane Sandy, it's not in your region, but nonetheless, up in New Jersey, New York area, we had some elementary schools that were devastated, in fact, lost their whole libraries. And, through the reservoir of books that we had, we literally were able to replace their libraries in several of those schools. Again, not anything having to do with necessarily with Christmas or having to do with toys, but nonetheless really important to those communities to be able to get those elementary schools stood up again, immediately refurbish their libraries for the kids.
If one community steps up to the plate overwhelmingly and to the point where there's actually a surplus of toys, would the overflow then be donated to a community where maybe they didn't get the support?
This would be something that the local coordinators would work out.
Okay.
Obviously, some of the coordinators have what we call an inventory. At the end of the year, you always get toys that are dropped off after you've done distribution. Sometimes we get large numbers of toys, gifting kind from major corporations, which go into our inventory. So, they can just hold on to the toys for the next year. Or if they really don't have the room in their warehouse, or they don't have a warehouse during the off-season, then they could work out an agreement with a local coordinator, maybe in the next county or something like that, and transfer some toys from one county to the next. But this would only be, of course, if there was actually a surplus.
When an older when an older child is involved, is it appropriate to, along with one toy, give them a gift certificate, one of those gift cards?
We have we don't give gift cards, and we prefer something that's actually tangible that the individual can hold, whether it's a book or a toy, or for the teens, the electronic gizmos that are out there are very popular. We try to make it something that the individual actually can have there on Christmas morning instead of just a card.
All right. Well, we want to help you, help others. So the best thing we can do is to just get the word out about it. And for the listeners, the best resource we can tell you about is the website. It's toysfortots.org. Toys R Us is a drop-off site, so I'll tell you that. But there's a long list of businesses in our community here in Marion County that are accepting Toys for Tots. And as I mentioned earlier, there are 2 local coordinators that are in charge of those toys, not only distributing them, they're also taking the requests from people who have requests. And you can make a request on that same website, toysfortots.org. There is a place to make the request. And is there any guidance on this? I mean, a kid asked for a $3,000 toy. You're going to say, well, it's a little too much.
Yeah, that's right.
We don't do $3,000 toys.
Yeah.
Usually we try to keep it to about a $30 limit that we spend on each toy.
Okay.
Occasionally we'll be beneficiaries of bicycles. You'll have a company that will donate, which are always great toys. But we try to. You start getting to the more expensive toys, and of course you reduce the number of children you can reach.
Yeah, I think my favorite gift I gave to my son when he was little was a bicycle. So
yeah,
I don't know if that's the favorite one he remembers, but it's the one I remember. I remember putting it under the tree, going, now that looks like Christmas.
Yeah.
when there's a bicycle under a tree, right? I think that is a phone call. Let me take that real quickly because I know you got to run. We've got about 2 minutes. Good morning. You're on the air.
Yeah, yes, good morning, folks. I didn't get a chance to hear the whole program, but I was wondering, if you didn't want to purchase a toy, where would you send a check to?
Great. What you can do is go online to our Toys for Tots website.
Okay.
And as has been explained, you can go to the state and county, and that local coordinator will have information there with regards to how you can donate, either online, using a credit card or something like that, or mailing in a check where you can mail the check.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And that is a good question. And if I it's hard for me to answer to everybody in our listening audience. But again, if you go to you pick the state, and in Marion County, it's broken up into 2 sections, east and west, and there are 2 coordinators, and each one has his or her. There's a man and a woman doing this. Own their own rules, I guess you would say, as to how you would get in touch with them, and how you would get them a check or how you would do it. Again, thank you so much, Lieutenant General Pete Osmond, for what you're doing, for being on the air with us, and have a great holiday season.
Well, thank you very, very much. I appreciate your support, and certainly appreciate the support that your community has given to Toys for Tots in the past, and that I know they will give this year. It really is important, folks.
I'm sure they will.
Thanks again, and early Merry Christmas to you and all your listeners.
Thank you, General. Thank you so much. We'll take a break, and we'll be right back.
Habitat for Humanity of Marion County is a ministry dedicated to improving lives by providing affordable and decent housing. Help them help others by visiting the Habitat for Humanity Ocala home store on Northwest 27th Avenue. To schedule a donation, give them a call and they'll come and pick it up. For more information, visit habitatocala.org. Habitat for Humanity of Marion County, building homes, building hope, building community.
Ooh, it's cold in here. Ooh, it's hot in here.
It's just right in this house. Looks like 1 out of 3 know about climate control mechanical services in Ocala. The first didn't call 291-0185. The second didn't know to call 291-0185. The third called 291-0185. So the moral of the story? To know is one thing, but to know and take action is another. Climate control mechanical services. Just right.
Now is the time to take advantage of Florida Credit Union's CD specials. Our 36-month CD comes in at 1.26% APY. A 24-month is working for you at 1.0% APY. And our 12-month at 0.75% APY. All CD rate specials require a $10,000 minimum. With friendly service and rates like these, it's not hard to see why Florida Credit Union has your CD options covered. Florida Credit Union, connecting your money to your life. Call 352-237-8222 for more information.
Don't ever miss a single edition of the Mike Huckabee Show. We're going to have a whole lot of fun talking the big issues of the day. We'll talk to the newsmakers and the issues that made them a newsmaker, as well as we'll bring you some entertainment, some fun. You never know what's going to happen on the Mike Huckabee Show. Don't miss it.
Join Mike Huckabee every weekday from noon to 3 exclusively on WOCA The Source.
ABC News Now. I'm Karen Chase. Honda is recalling more than 340,000 Odyssey minivans from the 2007 and 8 model years because of a brake problem that can stop the vehicles without warning and without triggering the brake lights. If you've been waiting for Black Friday, you're too late. Some stores, including Best Buy and Walmart, have already beaten others to the punch by offering early holiday deals. Online shopping is more convenient, but a new study finds we still love to physically visit stores to shop. 89% of people polled by Harris Interactive said they're taking a shopping trip this holiday season. As a tech team scrambles to get the government's healthcare website back up and running, White House officials have been urging people to register the low-tech way on the telephone. But ABC News has learned it may not be much faster since phone workers are using the same website. A New York City college student got by, but only with a little help from his friends. He fell into a crawl space between 2 buildings and got stuck for 2 days until his friends went searching for him. He was freed by firefighters who broke through a wall. This is ABC News.
Come on, sweetie, jump to Dad.
I'm not sure, Daddy. The water's cool.
There are moments in life that cause us to hesitate.
Jump right here.
Okay. Here I come.
I got you. Good job.
I did it. That was fun.
But once we take action, we're really glad that we did. If you're thinking about selling your home, don't hesitate. Interest rates are low and buyers are in the market. Every market's different. Call a Realtor today and visit Realtor.com. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors.
I need to protect my company's email.
Do you want an email security solution that's hard to install?
No.
You good with paying a fee for every user?
No.
How about a little extra for outbound email protection?
No.
Offshore or automated phone tree support okay?
No.
Then yes, we can help.
The Barracuda Spam and Virus Firewall, the world's best-selling business email security gateway, with email encryption and data leak prevention included at no extra cost. Available as a hardware appliance, virtual appliance, or as a cloud service. And always humans to answer your calls. Try the Barracuda Spam and Virus Firewall free. Go to barracuda.com/yes.
Here are today's headlines from the source WOCA. A year after Florida closed several prisons to save money, the state says it must reopen some of them because of projections of a growing inmate population. The Department of Corrections wants the legislature to appropriate $59 million to open 9 shuttered facilities next year from Miami to the Panhandle, including 2 prisons, 5 work camps, and 2 re-entry centers. The prisons in Rayford and Polk City were closed in July of 2012 and were touted by Governor Rick Scott as good news, cost-cutting steps in the budget. The new request is based on a July forecast from the State Criminal Justice Estimating Conference showing that even as the crime rate continues to drop, new admissions to the prison system are rising. They are projected to increase by 2.7% next year and 1.4% the following year, requiring more than 1,000 new prison beds. The current inmate population is about 101,000. Scott, who's seeking re-election in 2014, recently asked state agencies to cut spending by $100 million, but the prison system alone wants $124 million more next year, including money for more officers, new buses and vans, the food service system, and an electronic timekeeping system. A cell phone charger is being blamed for a fire in a home in southwest Palm Bay. Firefighters responded to a home on Olivia Street Southwest around 5 p.m. Saturday. Firefighters say a mattress box spring caught fire. Investigators believe the occupant of the home was charging a phone on top of the mattress. The charger sparked the fire. No one was hurt. The house is worth about $100,000, but the fire only did about $5,000 worth of damage. Officials with the Motorcycle Mechanics Institute say the alleged LAX shooter Paul Ciancia attended the school's Orlando campus. The school is located off Delegates Drive in Orlando and is a division of Universal Technical Institute, which has branches across the country. A spokesperson also said the FBI spent yesterday meeting with school leaders at the campus in reference to Ciancia's connection to the school. The school would not say if the FBI took anything from the campus. According to the Los Angeles Times, Ciancia was sent to MMI by his father to be groomed to take over his New Jersey motorcycle business. A school spokesperson said Ciancia attended the tech school and studied how to repair Harley-Davidson motorcycles from 2009 to December of 2011 when he graduated. The unemployed motorcycle mechanic suspected of carrying out the deadly shooting at the Los Angeles International Airport could face the death penalty if he's convicted. Federal prosecutors have filed charges of murder and commission of violence at an international airport against Paul Ciancia. Florida is on pace to match or break its record for panther road kills. 13 of the 16 known panther kills this year were from vehicle collisions. A record-tying 17 panthers died from vehicle collisions in 2012, and with 2 months left in the year, 4 road kills would tie the record. During the last 5 years, 45 panthers were killed by vehicles between October and March, with 28 panthers killed by vehicles during warmer, longer days from April through September, according to Darrell Land, a panther biologist with the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission. Naked and wet, more than 800 nudists paraded into the waters of Hullover Beach yesterday afternoon in an attempt to break the Guinness World Record for most skinny dippers at a single venue. The skin-bearing event drew 805 people, breaking the previous record of 729 people set this past July on El Playazo Beach in Vera Playa, Almeria, Spain. The world record, still pending approval from Guinness, took several hours, 2 counters, and an independent supervisor. And those are the headlines from The Source, WOCA 96.3 FM and 1370 AM.
Hi, this is Joe, and I'm your host for the new show, Damage Control, every Tuesday morning at 10:30 a.m., brought to you by Damage Control Services. We're going to be discussing floods, fires, storm and tree damage, sinkholes, mold, and many other disasters that you need to know about, how to prevent and prepare for them, as well as what to do when it happens and what to expect after it happens. This is Damage Control, Tuesdays at 10:30, right here on The Source.
Sesame Street and veggies. That story coming up on This Land of Ours.
Timberland Cattle would like to invite you to their Best of the Black Angus and Sim Angus Bull Sale, which will be held at the farm located at 15281 County Road 49, Vernon, Alabama, on Saturday, November 16th at 12 noon. Bill Freeman, owner, and Thomas Pennington, manager, will be offering for sale registered Black Angus and Black Sim Angus bulls with outstanding genetics. For more information and to view the sale catalog, visit their website, www.timberlandcattle.com, or call 205-695-6314.
Your Beef Checkoff does all kinds of things to help make sure consumers feel good about buying beef. And it's beef and dairy producers like you making decisions on how to invest your $1 per head checkoff to ensure beef makes its way to more meat cases, menus, and kitchen tables. And thanks to that careful investment, your Beef Checkoff returns more than $5.50 for every $1 invested. Get to know your checkoff and start sharing your views at mybeefcheckoff.com. Paid for by the Beef Checkoff.
Well, while shopping for your fruits and veggies, you may soon run into the likes of Big Bird, Elmo, Rosita, and Abby Cadabby. Of course, we're referring to the popular characters on Sesame Street, as Sesame Workshop and the Produce Marketing Association have joined the Partnership for a Healthier America in a 2-year agreement to help promote fresh fruits and vegetable consumption to kids. The agreement allows PMA's community of growers, suppliers, and retailers to utilize the strength and influence of the Sesame Street brand without a licensing fee. In making the announcement, First Lady Michelle Obama said the collaboration promotion is all about showing kids that healthy food can be fun and that fruits and vegetables don't just make us feel good, they taste good too. As she referenced a recent study where researchers gave kids a choice between an apple, a cookie, or both. The vast majority of kids chose the cookies, but when the researchers put Elmo stickers on the apples and let the kids choose again, nearly double the number of kids went for the apple. Julie McPeak with Southeast AgNet.
Good credits, bad credits. It's none of our business because we're not an auto dealer. We're not a bank. We're not your mother. We're OcalaForSale.com. Marion County's marketplace for cars, trucks, and SUVs. We've got thousands of sellers standing by to take your call. No middleman. But hurry, don't walk, don't run. Just sit down and log on to OcalaForSale.com. Prices and inventory change daily. Offer does not include dealer upcharge. Undercutting, rust proofing, factory surcharge, or delivery fee. See website for details.
Today in Florida Ag News on Southeast AgNet, we have the Commissioner's Spotlight.
I'm talking with Florida Agriculture Commissioner Adam Putnam. 13 teachers from across the state have just embarked on a year-long